Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We have 21 participants,
We have 21 participants.
so I would like to
So
start.
I would like to start.
Please mute your
Please
microphones
mute your microphones from your.
from your side. Mute your microphones. If you have any question or any doubt or any other queries, you may ask it later in group or send me personal inbox messages in WhatsApp, or you can mail me also. But as the time is very short, only 9 to 10, I do hope that you have another class from 10 also, isn't it? Or you don't have today? You
No,
don't
sir.
have only one
We
class.
don't have
Also,
today.
there is no bar if you can exceed 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So we have 22 participants. Let us start. So in my mm, previous physical classes in university, I have given you two topics for preparation, and I have given extensive notes on that. I hope all of you have got those two notes, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
So if you don't have that, please collect from anybody, those who attended those classes. The main topics that I discussed, Hemingway's Old Man and the Sea, there in university classes. One was the truth and poetry in Old Man and the Sea, and the other one was the skeleton and the style. So the style and the skeleton of Hemingway's Old Man and the Sea. So that was the really vital topic, and it is also suggested for preparation for your final exam. The style of Hemingway's in Old Man and the Sea, and truth and poetry. That means the narration, how it is important. You please do have one pen and another notebook with you. If I say something, please take a note of it. So we have already discussed two topics. Another one is the poetry and the narration, the narrative mode, the poetic mode, and the another is the style, the skeleton and the style. These are the two things that we have already done in our physical classes over there in the university. But right now, I would like to suggest you another two or three topics which you just take note of it for preparation of your final exam, because this will be important for your final exam broad questions. 24 participant broad questions. So the topics are, first of all, which is very important, and today I am going to discuss it, is the character of the old man Santiago. The character of the old man Santiago. Can you listen to me properly, everybody? Please raise your hands, otherwise.
Please raise your hands, otherwise.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
and mute your microphones,
Mute your microphones.
otherwise echo is coming. So
Sir, can you repeat the question? Style of Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea,
no,
and then character of the.
that I discussed physics class over there in university. Now today I am going to give you some broad questions. Just take a note of it. The some important topics you have to prepare for your final exam. But within these two classes, I have one today and another probably on 26th. Check the routine 26th from 9. I do hope that I have a class in 26th. So within these 2 days, I cannot complete the entire topic. So you have to prepare the topics, write your own answers by collecting some books that are available in PDF or in your library afterwards. So you can collect it from senior students also, those who have studied. But right now, take a note of some of the important questions. Number one, the character of the old man Santiago. That is the vital point that I am going to take over today. Okay. Number two, the character and the role of the boy Manolin, the character and the role of Manolin, the boy, that you have to prepare. A style which I have already given, so a style will be there. Hemingway style in Old Man and the Sea. Number 3, style in Old Man and the Sea. Has Pijus joined? Pijus, little earlier he dialed me, but I don't think he has yet joined. Okay, number 4, question number 4. Is it a allegory or is it a narrative or allegory? So Old Man and the Sea, it's allegorical structure. It's allegorical structure, Old Man and the Sea. And one very important question is the symbols in Old Man and the Sea. And I am saying the broader topics. The questions may come in another language. You have to fill it and then write your answer. So the next important question is the symbols in Old Man and the Sea. Some vital symbols are there, and that I will discuss in my next class, 26 symbols. And if I find time enough, then I will skip to some other topics also. So these are the broad topics that you have to prepare for your final exams. Right now, if I get any other important topics, then I will communicate it in the group, or I will send your class representative Pijus, who will communicate with you and give those topics later on. So right now it's 9:15, so we have to start our discussion of the character of Santiago. The character of Santiago. So you may take down some of the important points in your notebook. So Santiago, Shomani, can you listen to me properly? Okay. So Santiago, Merlin and the Sharks. So these are the three things. One thing I want to ask you: have you read the novel within this period, leisure period? Finished reading that novel? I have suggested it to read quite early. Have you read that completed? I hope you have. Raise your hand.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the first point is the old man of the title is the fisherman by trade. So the sea is. Please mute your microphone. Dindrajit 603. So the old man and the sea. The title is a fisherman by trade. He bears the fitting name Santiago, and that particular word Santiago literally means Saint James. Saint James, who was originally a fisherman living close to the Sea of Galilee and subsequently become an apostle. Eventually, he suffered martyrdom. So Santiago is the name which means Saint James. It has associated with something which is very sacred and apostle. So and eventually he suffered martyrdom. So early one morning, after months of bad fishing luck, he rose out alone into the Gulf Stream near the island of Cuba. So towards noon of that day, Thursday, he hooks a gigantic fish, gigantic marlin, for 2 days and 2 nights. It pulls him in his boat for northward and eastward, while he hangs for dear life onto the heavy line. Heavy line, fishing line. Line means here fishing line. So heavy lines, a human towing beat. I have to, if you still trying to join, and then I have to close my meeting room. It's already 9:15. One by one, you are trying to join. So you have to keep time. It was scheduled at 9. So what is there? The moon of the first day, he hooks a gigantic marlin for 2 days and 2 nights. It pulls him in the boat for northward and eastward, while he hangs for dear life onto the heavy line, a human towing beat, fighting a battle of endurance against the power of the fish. So it was a big fish, and Santiago cannot control the fish because it was a huge one, and when a fish generally swims in the water, it has got enormous potential or enormous power of swimming, and by that power, that particular huge fish marlin, it tows the entire boat with Santiago from northward to eastward. So again, nearly at noon, Rumas Hasmol, please join quickly. So so again, nearly at noon, he succeeds in bringing the marlin to the surface and killing it with the harpoon. So harpoon is that particular instrument which is used for fishing, used for killing the fish, or to take the control of a particular long big fish in the water. So since it is too large to be put abroad, so he lashes it alongside his skiff and sets his small patched sail for the long voyage home. So a skiff means a very small boat, and that particular boat cannot accommodate that big fish. So what did Santiago do? Santiago just catch hold of that big fish and put that big fish alongside of that small boat skiff and sail to the long voyage for home. Then one by one or two by two, and later in large numbers, the sharks attack the dead marlin. So generally the sharks, they come and they devour the flesh. They devour the flesh of big fishes or other animals in the water. So it was a feast for those sharks, and they came huge in numbers, one by one, two by two, and then huge in numbers. They came and they fished with that particular big fish marlin. So by that time the old man has reached his native harbor. There is nothing left for the marlin except the skeleton, the bony head, and the sail-like tail. So almost all uh, fleshes have already been eaten by those sharks. So when Santiago reached the harbor, and he found that there was almost nothing left of that big fish, which he somehow occupied to collect on that day. So next point is Santiago's moral victory. So how Santiago was victorious morally. The old man loses the battle he has won. So the winner takes nothing but the sense of having fought the fight of the limits of his strength, or having shown what a man can do when it is necessary. He is undefeated only because he has gone on trying. Enemies break through Santiago's lines of defense and take away his positions. Enemies means here sharks. As for Santiago himself, he has reached a condition. Pijus is waiting on the lobby. So, as for Santiago himself, he has reached a condition of absolute physical exhaustion as well as absolute but not abject humility. So both have cost him almost everything, which of course is the price one must always finally pay. We have to pay finally. So Santiago's victory is that moral victory to have. I request all of you, those who are waiting, please join quickly. Otherwise, I have to wind off that meeting room. It's already 9:20 and it's creating disturbance. So I am admitting one by one. So Santiago's victory is the moral victory of having persisted in his purpose without permanent damage to his belief in the worth of what he has been doing. So this is a kind of moral victory for Santiago. And next thing, that is the profit versus loss. That means whether it is profitable or whether it is something which is already lost. So Hemingway's novel generally based on anecdotes which he had recorded in an article during the spring of 1936, published in a periodical. The story, as finally told in this novel, evolved slowly in Hemingway's mind. The difference between the anecdote and the finished work of art is immense. What makes the difference is manner of narration. So concentrating on the shape of the anecdote. Anecdote means stories. Anecdote. A reader might argue that the incident is incredible. The incident is nearly incredible, or the reader might find to need a balance in the narrative of determined old man doing battle first against an almost equally determined Merlin and then against a band of sharks determined to eat up the catch. So the battle is two-folded for Santiago. Number one, for 85 days there was no catch. He had a very bad luck, and ultimately he has got the Merlin, the big fish. But that big fish, after so much struggle for so many days, that was the struggle number one. That means the reader might find it hard to balance the narrative of a determined old man doing the battle. So Santiago is a determined old man who is doing his battle to get the catch in the sea. But that battle was first recognized by the catch of a big, very big fish, Merlin, and then against a band of sharks, his Aesa. So again, it is a battle battle between him and the shark. That big catch, what he has got, is almost eaten by those sharks. So the two-folded battle. So such a when readers like us, we might ask that the whole thing comes to what? So after the shark's attack, the old man lose precisely cancels out of his profit. So it was a profit at first, and then it became totally loss. So leaving the reader neither to any positive result nor to a negative result. So this is the profit and loss point of view from the in the character of Santiago. So next point, that is the initial portrait. What we get in the first impression, what we get the first impression of the novel. So but it does not mean that the novel leaves us cold. The warmth of our sympathy can be traced in part to the way in which the portrait of Santiago himself has been drawn. He was an old man, the story begins, who fished alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream, and he had gone 84 days now without taking a fish. I am quoting from the text. So without taking a fish, in the first 40 days, a boy had been with him, but after 40 days, without a fish, the boy's parents had told him that the old man was definitely and finally a salau. Salau means very worst luck. That means he has got no luck at all without having any luck on his forehead. So salau, which is the worst form of unlucky person, and the boy had gone at their order in another boat which caught some good fish and on the very first week. So old man was thin and very deep wrinkles in his back of his neck, and the and his watches ran well down the sides of his face. Everything about him was old except his eyes, and they were the same color as the sea and were cheerful and undefeated. So almost Santiago, an old man, was totally vanquished, was totally defeated, except, as Hemingway described it, except his eyes. So, his eyes were of the same color, and it reflects a kind of confidence and a kind of undefeated spirit, a kind of cheerfulness that he has got. So the initial impression that we have got, that it was the impression of defeat, because he couldn't catch any fish for 84 days, and on the 85 days he got a big fish, and that was also eaten up totally by the sharks. So the first impression that has been described by Hemingway was that it was a kind of defeated impression, but in that defeated impression we have got the a very bright eyes, a very hopeful eyes, optimistic eyes of that particular old man. He never lost the hope, he never lost the hope. So at this age, generally, what we in our age we generally lose hopes. So, but Santiago, such an old man, he never lost hope. So this is the initial portrait, initial impression that we have got. And next point is Santiago is only a very simple in nature, very simple fisherman, like his namesake. That means what I have told from in the beginning of my lecture today, that his name was literally means Saint James. I have told that Saint James, originally a fisherman from the Sea of Galilee, and subsequently become an apostle, which I have told. So Saint James is the namesake, but he is like Wordsworth's leech gatherer, or any man, any old any old man in our literary field, very lonely professional work. Santiago acquires a kind of high dignity. So dignity, self-respect is one thing that has to be mentioned here. In both cases, an individual is singled out and presented in terms of the contest of endurance that seems to be symbolic to human life. So his endurance, a fight, his fighting spirit, the endurance. No, I will not leave. I will not leave this hope. Although I do have a very bad luck for 84 days, but still Santiago didn't lose the hope of getting something by catching in name of fish or something like that. So he never lost that, so he was undefeated. So that particular undaunted spirit, a kind of endurance, it is very symbolic of human life. So both in our Wordsworth's poetry we have found a leech gatherer. Leech gatherer was a very famous poem. So in Leech Gatherer, we have also find that this kind of endurance, this kind of fighting spirit, which we have also found here in this particular novel. So this point you have to mention very brief, and then the most important point is, write down it. The point is Santiago and Jesus. So a relationship between Jesus and Santiago. Who is wishing me good morning right now? The class is almost half an hour over. So Santiago and Jesus. So Santiago bears a significant relationship to other characters in the Hemingway canon. So Santiago has got a significant relationship to the other characters of Hemingway canon. Hemingway had felt interested in the proposition that there must be a resemblance between Jesus Christ in his human aspect as the son of god, and those countless thousands of men in the history of Christianity who belong to the category of good men. So it is believed in Bible or in Christianity that Jesus Christ is the savior of mankind. You all know that savior savior of mankind. So Jesus Christ is the son of god, and he saved thousands, countless men in the history of Christianity who belong to the category of good men. Mohoswami Sood is waiting. So, good men, and may therefore be seen as disciples of our Lord. So, we consider Jesus Christ as our Lord. In Christianity, it is considered as the Lord. So, whatever the professed degree of their Christian commitment, the young priest in Farewell to Arms, also we have seen young priest is an example. And then we have got for whom the bell tolls. We have got the old Spaniard Anselmo. The old Spaniard Anselmo is the another character. We have got the reference in for whom the bell tolls is another example. So Santiago shows certain qualities of mind and heart which are clearly associated with the character of Jesus Christ. So there is an association between Jesus Christ and Santiago. Acha, by the way, are you getting my voice perfectly? Somani, please raise your hand. Are you getting my voice? শোনা যাচ্ছে?
Because of connection, maybe.
Oh, sometime it is skipped. So try to find out the best possible place where you can get the best possible network. So what I am saying is Santiago has certain qualities of mind and heart which are clearly associated with the character and personality of Jesus Christ. So there is the essential gallantry, Gallantry. Gallantry means braveness, right? The endurance, a kind of undaunted, undefeated spirit. That is gallantry. A kind of militant spirit that we find in our military force, a gallantry. The gallantry awards are given on 26th Republic Day. So gallantry means a kind of military spirit. So there is the stamina which helps in all his determination to endure whatever is to come. There is the ability to ignore physical pain while concentrating on the larger object which is to be achieved. So one critic told that etched on the reader's mind is the mood of the old man, and he settled against the wood of the bow, and he took his suffering as it came, telling himself, rest gently now again the wood and think of nothing. So the suffering and the gentleness of the wood blend magically into an image of Christ on the cross. We have got Christ's image. How do you see that particular image, Jesus Christ's image on the cross? On the cross we have seen in church or somewhere in European Christian countries. So this blend of magically into the image, this blend of suffering and the gentleness of the wood, in these two things they assemble together to form the symbol of Christ. So as the old man moves in and through the next phase of his operation, so the force of idea of the crucifixion is gradually strengthened. So the idea of crucifixion and the image, that is the blend of a kind of suffering that Jesus Christ suffered, and a kind of gentleness of the wood, a kind of gentleness that also Jesus Christ possessed. These two amalgamation of qualities that we also found in the character of Santiago. So Santiago has a very keen affiliation with Jesus Christ. So it is a biblical association with Jesus Christ. Next, we would come to the point of humility. So three other qualities, write down three other qualities of Santiago deserves attention. in this connection, while we discuss the character and the significance of the character of Santiago, we have to mention these three things. Number one, Santiago's humility. Number two, his natural piety. And number three, his compassion. So these are the three things we need to mention. Number one, Santiago's humility. Number two, Santiago's natural piety. Piety, P-I-E-T-Y, natural piety. And the third one is compassion. Third one is compassion. These are the three things. Just a minute. Okay, so let us discuss these three important points in Santiago's character. Number one, I have mentioned, is the humility. So Santiago's humility, his natural piety and compassion. So his humility is of that well tested, a kind which can coexist with pride. Coexist with pride. I am quoting from a particular passage from the text. He was too simple to wonder when he was attained humility. He knew he had attained it, and he knew it was not disgraceful, and it carried no loss of true pride. When his own disciple Manolin calls him the best fisherman, Santiago replies, "No, I know others better. I know others better." See the phrase, "No, I know others better." The boy then says, "There are many good fishermen and some great ones, but there is only you." So emphasizing that, little boy emphasizing that you are the best available fisherman. So in reply to that, Santiago told to this old man, he replies that, "Thank you, you make me happy. I hope no peace will come along so great that he will prove us wrong." So this is the passage from the text. When you will read, you will find there it is. So I read once again. He was too simple to wonder when he had attained humility, but he knew he had attained it, and he knew it. Deep Pandey is joining right now when the class is almost over. So he knew he had attained it, and the knew it was not disgraceful, and it carried no loss of true pride. So when his own disciple Manolin is calling him that, I know you are the best. In that, in his Santiago replies that, "No, no, thank you. You make me happy, but I hope no fish will come along so great that he will prove us wrong." So this great fish that Santiago is soon going to fight against will not, of course, prove Manolin to be wrong. So quite the contrary. But when the old man finally defeats Manolin, we are told that his pride has been gone for a long time and forced out by his suffering. The humility means as the natural companion of his immense fatigue. Write down this line: the humility remains as the natural companion of his immense fatigue. So this is important. The humility remains forever with him, Santiago, and it has become the natural companion of his immense fatigue. Fatigue means exhaustion, tiredness, fatigue. So this is the first point. Next, come to the second point, the piety. Piety. So what is piety? Piety, you know what is piety? P-I-E-T-Y. Oh, you are all muted. Anybody can anybody tell me what is piety?
Kind person.
Yes, Namrata.
The kind person.
Pious
What?
or purity?
Your voice.
The person who is kind to all, or the person who is a kind-hearted person.
No, not piety is not that. Piety is not kind-hearted person.
Pious
Piety is
So it
something
is
associated with showing reverence to a deity. Suppose we worship several deities, আমরা বিভিন্ন ঠাকুর দেবতার পূজা করি, we show our respect. So this is called piety. So showing our devotion, showing our respect, worshipping, that is piety. Okay, so this piety, Santiago has some sort of jocular about his religion. So not so serious. Santiago was not so serious about his religion. Yet he is a very pious person. Pious means he is a very honest, sacred person. He is a very pious person, and this particular piety appears in his constant, unquestioning awareness of a supernatural power, at once outside and inside his personal struggle. His allusions to Christ, to God, and to the Virgin are never oaths. So, generally, Christians, what do the Christians do? The Christians generally take oath of Christ, take oath of God, or take oath of Virgin Mary. As we do in our culture, also, we take several oaths in Bengali and in other cultures. Similarly, the Christians also they do take oaths, but for him, for Santiago, pronouncing the name of the Christ, pronouncing the name of the God as the Savior of man, or pronouncing Virgin Mary, Mary's name is not only the taking of oath, but it is associated with a sense of piety, a sense of reverence, a sense of worshipping, and his constant unquestioning awareness of a supernatural power. He has got an idea that something supernatural is there beyond the natural. So as we have also got in Coleridge, we have also got in science also. In Einstein's one once told that I do believe in science, but still I believe that there is something supernatural beyond this natural. So Santiago has got this kind of feeling. So write a short note of this point. So I would like to quote some of the lines from the text, which will strengthen the argument that he was a very pious and his piety. He was a very pious person and his piety. So the first one, Christ knows he cannot have gone, he exclaims, in the uncertain interval before the feast is actually over. Christ knows he cannot have gone. Christ knows. So, as we in our Bengali language communication, everyday communication, what we say, so we take some oaths in the name of God. Similarly, here also, Christ knows he cannot have gone. He explains in the uncertain interval before the fish is actually hooked. Next, God let him jump. God let him jump. He prays soon and draw on the second day. Next, another example is that God help me to have the cramp go, he says, when his left hand has become totally useless or temporarily useless. But he does not depend solely on God's intervention. He massages the hand, he exposes it to the sun, and eats raw tuna in the expectations of benefit. But like sun, diet, or message, prayer may also help. So there is also the more formal prayers. For instance, if I say a particular passage from page number 56 of the novel, so I am not religious, but I will say 10 I will send 10 our fathers, O capital, F capital, and the hell maze that I should catch this fish, and I promise to make a pilgrimage to the Virgin de Cobre if I catch him. That is the promise. So it is a kind of pilgrimage. A pilgrimage means, what is pilgrimage? Pilgrimage. What is pilgrimage? Somani?
তীর্থযাত্রী
তো তীর্থযাত্রা
Pilgrimage. Holy journey. A holy journey that is being taken to a sacred place, that is called pilgrimage. So for Santiago, that was a kind of pilgrimage. So that was in the novel, you will find it. In my book, it is page 56, and it might be different. So this is the piety. Next, we come to the third point, that is compassion. So that is compassion. So with humility, pride, and piety, Santiago is richly endowed with a quality of compassion. So we have got Coleridge's Ancient Mariner. You have read in your junior classes, Ancient Mariner. That he one line is famous. Line is there. He prayeth best who loveth best all things both great and small. He prayeth best who loveth best all things both great and small. So Santiago, however, does not love all creatures equally. He dislikes something also. As for example, the Portuguese men of war. Portuguese men of war, he dislikes. Then outwardly handsome, inwardly lethal. He told about the whore, the Portuguese men of war. He referred, you whore, outwardly handsome, inwardly lethal. These beings strike him as the falsest things in the sea. So he also hates genuinely and destroys gladly the greedy sharks which attacks and disfigure the marlin he had fought so long to win. So he hates those sharks, those who have eaten the entire flesh of the catch, the big marlin, and the sharks too he looks upon as his enemies. So by his hatred is more than overbalanced by his simple love and compassion for other creatures. His principal friends on the ocean are the flying fish. He loves the green turtles and the hawkbills with their elegance and speed. What we see that he has got a kind of enmity with the sharks. He has got a kind of enmity with the Portuguese men of war. But in contrast to that, he also found helpful or found friendly the hawkbills, the flying fishes, etc. So the loggerheads may also huge and stupid, happily gobbling the Portuguese men of war. This is the line you will find. The long quotation is there, long passage is there in the novel. So I would waste my time by reading that passage. So we have got that compassion is another essential factor that determines the characteristics of Santiago. So Santiago has got compassion. So generally, what we see, compassion is something which comes from within. আমাদের ভেতর থেকে আসে. So when someone is staying absolutely alone in isolation, but these things shouldn't come. Compassion will just evaporate. But in case of Santiago, we found that no, there is a very good amount of compassion in the heart of Santiago. So now let us turn to another point, is Santiago's solidarity with natural world. Solidarity with natural world. So Hemingway's heroes sometimes lose touch with nature and may as a result come to grief. As for example, Jack Burns is the Persian cafe circle in Sun Also Rises, another famous novel of Hemingway. The hero is Jack Burns. Jack Burns was a Persian cafe circle. And another example, Frederick Henry in The Tangle of War in Italy. It is being referred from a Farewell to Arms. Farewell to Arms you have read. And two memorable, these are the two memorable examples. And Santiago is never out of that touch also. The line which ties him to the fish guarantees that the alliance will remain unbroken. Santiago is even more closely allied with the birds, with the fishes, than Saint Francis was with the animals and birds. So there are Santiago's brothers in all sizes. I am with a friend, he cheerfully tells the warbler. Now the bird has flown away. He is momentarily struck by a sense of his aloneness on the vast water. আমি যেটা I was telling right now, এটা আমি বলছিলাম একটু আগে যে it is not easy to sail in a very small boat for long 85 days, 90 days. You are staying alone on the sea without having any human association. This is very difficult. If you stay, just you are feeling you are getting bored by 30 days confinement at home. So we have to take all these things for that. So this quarantine period, we have already exhausted the spirit. So can you imagine the spirit with which that particular old man was sailing in the sea for 85 days without having any human association, without having any natural association, only water and water and water, and that too is salty water. You cannot eat a single drop of that. So a fine endurance spirit must be there within the heart. So unless you possess that, you cannot struggle yourself out from that ordeal. So here also we find that momentarily these birds, these flying fishes, they are the only companions of Santiago. So his association with natural world, also his feeling of solidarity with the visible universe and the natural creation is one more factor helping to sustain him through this kind of ordeal means this kind of pain that we are also suffering right now. So that's why we have to arrange all kinds of this technology associated classrooms and etc etc. So Santiago had a particular association of solidarity with the natural world. That is another point. Next come to another point is his martyrdom. Is his martyrdom, martyrdom, martyrdom. So Santiago's experience is the form of martyrdom, the old man's only fault. It is the fault consists in doing to the best of his ability what he was born to do. He does nothing wrong from the moral point of view, but this does not prevent his martyrdom. His ordeal by endurance is comparable to the crucifixion, and he attains by virtue of his courage and persistence a kind of deification or apotheosis. এই যে biblical association that I was telling, and in my next class perhaps I will also mention the images, and there also this thing will come, the image of biblical image, the association of Christianity with this particular novel is that his ordeal means his pain, his suffering, his endurance in this vast sea without having any catch, without having any human association. This is something, the suffering of the Jesus Christ is like the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. So we have got a similarity between Christ's suffering as well as Santiago's suffering here. So his ordeal by endurance is comparable to the crucifixion, and he attains by virtue of his courage and perseverance or his persistence a kind of deification or apotheosis. What is deification? Deification means it is something like personification. Suppose we attribute some human qualities in an inanimate object. Hajra no, Anubroto Hajra is joining the class. So see the fate. আমার এটা লক করে দেওয়া উচিত ছিল। So যাই হোক, so come to the point, his courage and persistence, through courage and persistence this particular old man attained a kind of deification. Personification and deification is just like attributing the quality of gods, attributing the qualities of a god, that is called deification, deify kora, to project someone with the qualities of god. So Santiago had a kind of martyrdom. Next, he was a realist. So Santiago's humility and simplicity do not allow him to mar his achievement by any conscious martyrdom. Man is not made for defeat, he says at the point. See the courage of that old man. He is saying that man is not made for defeat. মানুষ হারবার জন্য তৈরি হয়নি. The man is not made for defeat. So man can be destroyed but not defeated. This is the line I am quoting from the text. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. His resolution is always strengthened by some such thought as this, and he acts in accordance with that. So these qualities of determination and action sustain him up to the point when he knows that his only remaining course is to take what comes when it comes. So he accepts the destiny. So whatever will come in time, and that I have to accept. So there is no other alternative. So arrival at this point does not unbalance him. He is not a rebel against the ruling power of the universe. He cannot fight against the ruling power of the universe. Can we? Nobody. We cannot do that. We what is the ruling power of the universe? Suppose what is happening right now. This is the proper example that we can cite. A simple virus that is that is taking the grip of the entire world, that simple virus, and so many human progress, scientific endeavors, so many achievements in science, biological science, there are so many Nobel prizes are given, but still now we are fighting. Lakhs and lakhs of people are dying every day. So this is the ordeal we are going through, and the same ordeal was being faced by Santiago. So these qualities of determination and action sustain him up to the point that he knows that the only remaining course is to take what comes when it comes. So we have to accept when something will come, that we have to accept the destiny. So arrival to this point, he does not unbalance him. He is not a rebel against the ruling power of the universe. So nor does he think that he is destroying anything except a prize Marlin with whom he has fought long and fairly. একটা বিরাট বড় মাছ he has caught that, and by 2 days that particular big fish, he dows the entire skiff and along with the fisherman Santiago for 2 days. You cannot, if you catch a big fish in the pond, so you have to keep it for hours, and he will roam here and there in the water, and the water line with which you can catch hold of that particular fish, you have to endure, you have to put your entire strength to just playing the fish in the water. And you know the best strength of the fish is found in water, because they are generally water what should I say, they are marine animals. So their entire force is on that. When a fish will be fish will will be kept in the soil or kept on this earth, then he will die for 2 minutes or within 2 or 3 minutes, because that is not the position, that is not the ambience, that is not the place where he is supposed to live. But in the water, he is the fish. A fish is a very strong, very powerful, or very potent animal, what should I say. So with this endurance, the arrival of the and then the arrival of the sharks on the scene does not surprise him. He does not expect for a moment that he will let his escape uninjured. So he is a moral realist. So realist, what is the meaning of realist? Realist means one who accepts the reality, one who accepts the reality, very practicality, and in a very day-to-day way, or in a very practical manner. সেটাকে বলা হচ্ছে realism. So realist. So he is a realist. So what will come, that we have to accept. That is the main motto, and that motto was found within Santiago. So this is another point you have to elaborate after reading the novel. Those who haven't read, just read the novel and finish it within this leisure period. So next point is the problem of sin. sin, sin. What you know, sin? What is sin? sin, sin. কেউ একজন বলো। সোমানি, nobody is
হ্যালো,
পাপ, কোনো কিছু
পাপ।
খারাপ কাজ করা, পাপ।
খারাপ কাজ করা পাপ।
So sin, okay, now mute. So sin, yet Santiago feels certainly troubled by the moral and metaphysical questions. So one is the problem of the whether there is whether there is any connection between sin and suffering. So there is a connection between sin and suffering, as has been told in Bible also. It is silly not to hope, he thinks to himself after the killing of the Makosar. Besides, I believe it is a sin. In this way, he enters into a consideration of the problem. At first, his realism warns him that this is a dangerous ground. There are enough problems now without sin, and I have no understanding of it, and I am not sure that I believe it. So there is a long passage. I won't waste time. You read that passage, which is in page number 95 of my book. So in that particular page 95, we will get a good long passage where it has been described the problem of sins. So Santiago feels certainly troubled by the moral and metaphysical questions, some moral questions that cropped up into his heart, and some metaphysical questions also propped up into his heart, and he was finding whether there is any connection between sin and suffering. So suffering and sin, these are all synonymous things, and that was being presented in that particular passage. So next come the pride and love, and that is a small point. So time is already over, already 1 hour, so we have to wind up. But so I will discuss 2 or 3 important points, leaving the unimportant one. So another is the Christian virtues. Write down Christian virtues. So Christian virtue, so there is something of the Christian saint about Santiago. He has achieved the most difficult and saintly of Christian virtues. That is humility. Humility we have already discussed. So it is a humility to so absolute that it involves no loss of true pride. So there is even in him a suggestion of Saint Francis in his attitude to animal life and especially to birds. Moreover, as various moments in the story, Santiago affirms the major Christian virtues. Kikipai, what Christian virtues we have got in the novel? One is faith, another is hope, another is charity. So faith, hope, and charity. Write down these three: faith, hope, and charity. These are the 3 Christian virtues that we have got, which are associated with Santiago's character, and Santiago was totally engrossed with all these 3 Christian virtues. So in the very first dialogue between Santiago and the boy Manolin, we have found something like that. I read 3 lines. He hasn't much faith. No, the old man said, but we have, haven't we? Yes, the boy said. So here we find in the very first dialogue between Santiago and the boy Manolin, we learned that while the boy's father had not much of faith of Santiago, and Manolin have, but Manolin have it. Manolin is opposing. He hasn't much faith. He hasn't much faith. No, the old man said, but we have, haven't we? Yes, the boy said. So towards the close of the novel, we also find that the old man tells himself, it is silly not to hope, beside it is a sin. As for charity, we see it clearly in his generous love of men and animal. So this kind of Christian faith that is being found in and hope and charity that is being found with the association of the men and animals with this particular old man Santiago. And next point is the non-Christian saintliness. Non-Christian saintliness. SAINTLINESS. Non-Christian saintliness. So Santiago's sainthood is of non-Christian order. His charity, for instance, arises not from the feeling that all are God's creatures, but from a sense that he and his natural creatures participate in the same pattern of necessity and are subject to the same judgment. So there is also another long stanza given for example from the text. But what is the elixir of that particular stanza? Is that Santiago's sainthood is a non-Christian order. His charity, for instance, arises not from the feeling that all are God's creatures, but from a sense that he and all natural creatures participate in the same pattern of necessity and are subject to same judgment. So we have almost come to the end of analyzing the character Santiago and his biblical association. But the question might come not flatly that analyze the character of Santiago. It's not that. Question may come in some twisted language also. Bring out the significance of Santiago's character with some biblical association or Christian suggestion. Then you have to put down these points and logically write and give some passages from the text, as what I have told in page number 95 or reference I have given. So you have to pick some lines from there also, from the text, to write down the answer, and that will be authenticated. Otherwise the examiner will think that you have grasped the text, or you have written the note or answer by preparing it from somewhere else. You haven't gone through the test, so you have to keep some examples from, or some citations from the text also. So it is a this particular novel is a novel of pain, novel of suffering, novel of melancholy, but ultimately the old man triumphs. At last we saw that ultimately the old man triumphs. So it is the best thing we have got here. And last one, which I have already mentioned earlier, is undefeated and undaunting spirit. So undefeated and undaunting spirit. এটা আবার কি হয়ে গেল? Can you see my face from your side?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে ওকে ওকে ইট ইজ রেস্টোর্ড ওকে সো the undaunted or undefeated spirit of Santiago. Santiago, the last two things I will not take more than 5 minutes. Okay, so listen to me carefully. So Santiago is not an entirely new character in Hemingway's fiction. He is the development of the code hero. Write down this particular phrase: code hero, C-O-D-E, code hero, H-E-R-O, code hero. Santiago is not an entirely new character in Hemingway's fiction. He is the development of the code hero as depicted by Hemingway in some of his previous novels also. In fact, Santiago is the code hero grown old and wiser. He distinctly reminds us of Manuel Garcia, the bullfighter in the short story The Undefeated. Write down Manuel Garcia, M-A-N-U-E-L. Manuel. You can put your cameras on right now because we are almost at the end of the lecture and I have to take a snapshot and recording will be ended. So please put your cameras or videos on from your side. So Santiago's code hero here also, the undefeated undaunting spirit is that the example is that Manuel Garcia is like Manuel Garcia who was the bullfighter in the famous short story The Undefeated, short story Undefeated. So like Manuel Garcia, Santiago is a fighter whose best days are behind him, who is too old for what his profession demands for him, and who is wholly down on his luck. So there is an association between these two heroes of Santiago, Manuel Garcia and Santiago of Hemingway. But what is code hero? You have to know the meaning of code hero. So this is the best thing. The question may come in another language. So what is code hero and what is the association of Santiago as a code hero? So write down only two lines. Please write down. Code hero, I quote, code hero, write down the definition of code hero: a man who lives correctly. Can you listen to me? Put your microphones in.
Yes, sir.
Put your microphone.
Yes, sir.
Unmute
Yes,
it. So
Yes, sir.
code hero is a man who lives correctly, comma, following the ideals of honor, ideals of honor, comma, courage and endurance in
Can
word.
you please repeat?
Which one?
Can you
Courage
please
and
repeat the
endurance.
network problem? So I cannot listen to you, sir. Please repeat from the
Okay,
first
I am
line.
repeating. You just listen to me carefully. I am repeating. A man who lives correctly, comma, following the ideals of honor, comma, courage and endurance in world that is sometimes chaotic, 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 often stressful, STRESSFUL, often stressful and always painful. And always painful. And always painful. So this is the very basic definition of code hero. Devdali Choudhury is still waiting in the lobby. Everything is over and she's okay. So hero, this is the definition in short, but you will get, broader definition and explanations in several books, and in other ways you can manage that. But this is the basic thing which I have told. So a man can be destroyed but not defeated. This is the main line I have already told, and this is how Hemingway states of his theme in this particular novel. A theme which is familiar to Hemingway readers, familiar to his remark, that what a man can do and what a man endures. This is the first time in all Hemingway's works that the code hero and the Hemingway heroes become almost one. So Wilson is the guide of the short story called Happy Life of Mokambar. This is the protagonist is Wilson. Wilson and Morgan, the smuggler. These two persons embodied ideals of behavior which the Hemingway hero could not previously attain. They balanced the Hemingway hero's deficiency, they corrected his stance, but Santiago represents the Hemingway hero having developed into the code hero. So the amalgamation between this normal Hemingway hero and the code hero, the definition I have given, the definition of uh, um, uh, a code hero, that is a man who lives correctly, lives honestly, and following the ideals of honor and courage and endurance. There must be courage and endurance. These are the basic things which we need to have, and we are facing also the same situation here in these days of quarantine period. So courage and endurance is the main words, main terms that we have to follow in a world that is sometimes chaotic, and really the world is chaotic and often stressful and always painful. So this is the analysis which I could have done within this very short stipulated period of 1 hour. So let us have please switch on your from your end to take a snapshot.
Sir,
I don't.
hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes,
can you
please.
please the inner meaning of the story, the moral of the story?
Moral of the story, main three things: the endurance, the fight for survival, and we have to keep our honesty, we have to keep our faith in religiosity, we have to keep our faith on God. Please switch on your cameras, those who are still muted, camera muted. Rita, Mousumi, Devdali, Pooja, Gargi Mondol, Unubroti, and there are several no names, only MG, etc. Some model names are given, perhaps because I app and that I have to send to the university. 7 participants. Cow is also attending the class. The cow is also struggling to get survival in this quarantine period. Okay, so those who are muted still remain them in muted condition. I have to send it to madam. So this is the 1 hour 15 minutes class. Already we have come to the end. I don't know whether it will be recorded or not.